There's another Eliza quiz on Instagram, this time featuring cryptids and, oddly, simulation theory? Let's take a look. It starts out with Eliza welcoming us back. In fact, saying that she was hoping we'd come back to her. It's an interesting line and makes me wonder where this is going to be in the game. If it's the first time we meet her, that's a super strange thing to say. Unless it turns out that, Until Dawn style, we've been playing Laura during all of the chapter breaks because they met in the prologue. Although if it's from later, she's just being friendly. Getting a look at the roof of the room she's in gives us an additional piece of information. This rounded roof and narrow walls suggest that this scene is taking place in a vardo, the traditional Romani wagon that serves as both a mobile home and office for them as they travel from place to place. Given the classic fictional association between Roma people and fortune-telling, it's not surprising to see her living and working in a place like this. Hopefully we'll get to see her wagon at some point in the game from the outside, nestled away in a clearing in the woods that has no obvious way to get it in or out of. Here's a vardo in the scene from The Wolfman, where Larry goes to look for information about his curse, although the fortune teller he sees is working out of a tent set up next to her wagon, which is pretty sensible really. You don't want people traipsing in and out of your house all day, do you? She also talks about how what she's going to tell you is a possible future, which may not come to pass. This suggests one of two things. The first is that, in a reveal at the end of the game, it will turn out that the Eliza scenes are taking place well before the action, with a surprising character reveal for who's talking to her. Or perhaps they're going to do what Discord user Alkaline88 suggested, and fold the premonitions and curator's hints into a single mechanic. Their idea is that while players can collect tarot cards in the game, they won't actually contain premonitions that can immediately be seen once picked up. This theory is the tarot cards that the player collects will show up on Eliza's table in between chapters, and players will be able to select a limited number of them, only getting tiny glimpses of the possible futures, rather than being able to see whatever they want. It's an intriguing idea, and would be very cool if that's what they're going with. Next we have a cryptid quiz, which weirdly starts with a glitch in the Matrix question. More importantly, for now anyway, is the fact that this is paired with a close-up of the bunker beast's leg. I tried to zoom in on this in the 4K prologue footage, but this is a way better image. As you can see, it's not so much that the leg has an extra knee, as I thought from the road footage, more that it's got an incredibly long foot, and that joint we're seeing is the ankle. We've seen this kind of character design in werewolf fiction before, of course, but the spindly leg is totally hairless. So if these are a kind of werewolf, we can probably expect them to look as different from the traditional werewolf as House of Ash's vampires do from our normal ideas about bloodsuckers. Next we've got a question about whether reality is a simulation, which, again, why? These are weird questions to be posing for a game like this. Unless, of course, it turns out that's just something one of the characters is obsessed with as an explanation for why spooky stuff is going on. Then this is a good intro to that. The footage involves Dylan looking a little concerned by something he saw in the camp's security system. Also, one of the cameras is apparently out, which might have a troubling explanation down the line. I find it a little weird that the cameras seem to be pointed at random places in the woods, rather than at cabins or the pool. But maybe these are significant paths in some way? And hey, how neat is it that the graphics of this game are so good that we can actually see a reflection of the monitor in Dylan's eye? We're getting close to solving things like Dale Cooper, people. It's great. Next up is a question about whether we've seen or heard anything inexplicable in nature. And the footage is a shirtless, likely wet from the lake Jacob, looking freaked out as he glances from side to side. Is this decision point footage with the timer removed? Kind of has that vibe to it. Now they want to know if we've ever felt unwelcome in nature or like we're being studied. That's the whole someone is watching me sixth sense thing. And I don't know anyone who hasn't felt that at one time or another. I'm interested in seeing the final vote on this one. The footage is a spider on a log, which is a little sinister, but not particularly informative. Then we have a sign warning us to keep out of the quarry area. This is totally normal, of course. Quarries mean that at some point the ground is just gonna suddenly stop being there. And especially at night, you always have to watch your step. Now they ask, which is more likely to really exist, aliens or cryptids? I think this is pretty much 50-50. Nice to see a Mothman reference there, although he might be an alien, depending on how reliable Indrid Cold and the Men in Black are as sources. And, of course, our beloved Salim might well be named after him, so there's that. Then it's back to Eliza for a Jerry Maguire reference,
Help me help you.
and the game's central message. The help me help you thing is an interesting idea. Is Alkaline 88's theory right? And she can only give us hints about the future if we actually do the work in tracking down tarot cards? This combination of premonition items with act break characters could lead to some amazing outcomes. I wonder what the next quiz is going to be about. I've been the Hidden Object Guru. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please remember to like and subscribe. Special thanks go out to my patrons, Desire, Marissa, Eduardo, Brian, and Joanne. You can always find me at my live streams, weeknights at 9 Eastern and weekends at noon. We'll see you back here for more Supermassive Games content. But until then, au revoir.